Hey guys, Leigh Mayock here. I am your host of Believe in the Eagles. It is Tuesday after our Monday Night Football loss in Philadelphia to the Falcons. And I guess that's the question right now is, do we believe in the Eagles, right? And I mean, of course, I still believe in the Eagles, okay? It's week 2. You guys, it's week 2. Okay. And I know the overreactors are not going to like what I have to say, but I'm still cautiously optimistic about this team. Okay, it's still early. Like, this is the same thing. Why did the Panthers bench Bryce Young after week 2? It's too early. I think it's so dumb. But we're not here to talk about Bryce Young and the Panthers. We're here to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Monday night performance. This weekend was really like such a roller coaster because Philadelphia fans were sitting so pretty on Sunday. We got to watch the Derek Carr and the Saints just like low-key decimate the Cowboys. And then we got to watch the 49ers get beat by the Vikings. Like, it couldn't have been more perfect going into Monday Night Football, right? Not to mention Monday Night Football, like go at that Sunday, having that type of Sunday, rolling into Monday Night Football, where it's your home opener under the lights. ESPN's there. Jason freaking Kelsey's there. Who else was there? Fletcher Cox was there. Like, I mean, this was basically a Philly football circus in the best of ways. People were tailgating from, I heard people were there, got to the lots at like 5 a.m. on Monday morning to tailgate. I mean, the vibes were high. We're coming off of a win in Brazil against the Packers. I mean, this was just the perfect opportunity for the Eagles to come in and just make a statement and like stomp all over the Atlanta Falcons. It was really the perfect scenario and the perfect setup, and it just didn't go that way. And so, like, also when I say I'm still cautiously optimistic about them, please don't think that doesn't mean that I'm not so frustrated and disappointed in the team's performance last night. Like, trust me, I am. I watched the game at home alone and didn't even have like a lick of alcohol. And I still woke up this morning feeling like I was like hungover and just so blah. I mean, not to mention it is super overcast in Philly right now, and it feels like such a Monday. But I mean, this whole city, like I live downtown, and this whole city feels like the wind. Is it the wind got knocked out of you? The wind got knocked out of you. I was going to say someone took the air out of your tires. Is that also one or no? I don't know. But that's the vibe today. I mean, I had to take a minute today and like go to the gym, sit in the sauna. I had to really like get that loss off of me before I could sit here and have a productive conversation about what happened in the game and like what that means without me myself overreacting to, my feelings and emotions. You guys, I'm learning a lot in therapy. Okay. Like that's pretty good. But so it was just such a disappointment. And I'm also realizing some irony here. The only reason that I know the phrase cautiously optimistic is because that's what my dad would say anytime I brought around like someone I was dating or a new boyfriend. I'd be like, Dad, what do you think? Like, do you like him? Like, da, da, da. And he'd be cautiously optimistic, honey. And you know what happened every single time to this day? We were both frustrated and disappointed. Dare I say, sometimes embarrassed too by the whole situation. So, a lot of the juxtaposition there is pretty interesting. But, this stage was really set for the team to have such a great performance. And it's almost like I don't want to say embarrassed, but it is kind of embarrassing that with all that going on for Monday Night Football last night, the team somehow came out flat. Like, so that's what really honestly worries me the most, is that if you like can't get up for a Monday Night Football team under the lights with your former star players there, ESPN's there, like every camera is on you. Everything was about Philadelphia football last night. And if you can't get up for that, like what are we doing? You know, so when the offense came out shaky, got off to a shaky start, shaky doesn't worry me as much as flat. And I thought things were real flat, especially in the defense, but I'll get into that later. It just reminds me of, so I played basketball. I was a basketball player. And I was a goddamn performer, okay? And I mean, I was also an A1 head case and couldn't make a foul shot for the life of me because I just had a little bit too much time to think, but that's another conversation for another day. But when I say I was a performer, I mean, if I was suiting up for a primetime game when I knew everyone was watching, all the lights were on me, like I'd be jumping out the gym. So what I'm saying is how do you come out flat in that type of environment? Like that's what worries me. And I feel like I'm harping on that, but it's just the most relatable thing for me. And okay, so the defense, because that's what was freaking me out. Okay, I have to say, CJ Gardner-Johnson, like last week, was a goddamn ping pong ball. He was everywhere, covering ground everywhere. I thought he was absolutely great. But the entire game, the defense couldn't stop the run. And there's no edge. I mean, there was no pressure on the quarterback. I felt at one point I was like, oh my God, Kirk Cousins could go and read a bedtime story to each and every single one of his children and still have time to throw the ball against our defense right now. It was, I mean, I hated watching it. I hated it because in that sense, what I was talking about, like the environment, the energy, just like getting after it, I think it's easier for the defense to do that in those types of situations. And there was no one, I didn't see anyone except I think CJ Gardner-Johnson was doing it. But I mean, like, none of the defensive linemen, none of the outside linebackers, like I wasn't seeing that monster mentality that I was expecting in a primetime game, especially. Like someone should always be that, not someone, like they should always be that way. Like I'm thinking of like Max Crosby. Could you ever imagine Max Crosby coming out flat and staying that way during Monday Night Football? He could be playing in a meaningless game and he's still going to be a monster. And that is contagious, right? And we didn't have that last night. And it worries me that we don't have that at all. Like we need at least one psychopath on the defensive front. Like we need it. It's contagious. We need it. And clearly like what we have isn't working right now. And it's obviously, it is not all the defense's fault. I just can't believe they were so flat in a primetime game. And the offense. So I thought overall, Jalen Hurts played a good game. Overall, Saquon Barkley was an absolute beast. What stuck out to me is the fact that we were, I don't know. Should I say we or should I say they? I never know what to do with that. And then I switch it up every single time. I'm just going to try to say they. I'm not playing on the field. I always said we with Raiders. And it's like, we're with the team. I'm not with the team right now, so I should probably say they. But anyway, I'm passionate about it. So I keep saying we. But the Eagles went into this game finding out on like Friday or something that they were going to be without A.J. Brown, right? So that is a big deal and a big disadvantage. But they are professionals at the highest level. They're NFL professionals. So, and every single team in the league deals with this multiple times a year throughout the season, right? You go down players, you go down star players, you don't know when they're coming back. Someone gets hurt in the middle of the game. Like that is just, that is the nature of the game. So A.J. Brown being out this weekend and not knowing that till like Friday is no excuse for a team who is ranked and talked about so highly right now, right? And I think it's almost worse when we're down in A.J. Brown and we are not controlling the things we can control. And the Eagles love to say that, like control what you can control. Well, what can you control on offense? You can button it up and not be sloppy. You can alleviate penalties. I mean, that like you should be doing those things, especially when you're down a weapon like A.J. Brown, because you need every yard you can get, all the field position you can get. So I think like the sloppy penalties on offense is what stuck out to me and had me most frustrated. Otherwise, in terms of the offense, as you could imagine, all of Philly talk radio and Philly sports media has been talking about the offensive play calling. Obviously, that drop was not Saquon Barkley's fault. Like, and if you have, what I believe, I mean, the play was there. They had him 99% of the time. He's going to catch that ball. But I'm more of the mentality that if we're going to put fault somewhere, it's whoever called that play. Because at that point, you're not playing against the Falcons, you're playing against the clock. So you play against the clock with a run play. And I know Philly, like, they like to be aggressive. Again, they had him there. He was open, but that's not the point. The point is you could burn 40 more seconds off the clock and you have a completely different game on your hands. But that being said, too, on the plus side of things, again, I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic. I thought Jalen, as I said, I think he had an overall pretty good game. I think he's looked better than he has. He kind of came alive in both the run game and the pass game. But at the same time, there I go again. They, the Eagles do not want Jalen Hurts taking the type of hits he took last night all season. That's just not sustainable. You know what I mean? So he looked good in that scrambling. He looked better, more comfortable, but we don't want him taking hits all game. All season. It's just, you can't, that's not going to work. And to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it, I know I harped on the defense, and I do stand by what I said. Like, the run defense is a major, major red flag, major alarm. But when I think about the score of the game, like the defense, until that last drive, the defense really did keep points off the board. So they should be applauded for that. But they're just missing a really important piece, is what I should say. And I mean, everyone's like, call us on Reddick. I'm not mad at that. I think that's a great idea, to be honest with you. But basically, I mean, yeah, last night was a big disappointment. But all of these things, everything I just spoke about, they're fixable. We can fix this. We can get this together. We can fix it. And another thing that makes me feel that way is because so far, all like the player coach reactions have been people taking responsibility for themselves and for their errors. Like no one's passing the blame. No one's passing judgment on anyone else besides themselves. And I don't care what anyone else has to say. To me, that is the sign of a very strong locker room. And I think that should start manifesting itself more so on the field as well. There I go again, cautiously optimistic. And before I wrap this up, I would be remiss not to add Ovi and Michael, hosts of Believe in the Falcons. I saw your podcast this morning. You guys had big smiles on your faces, and I get it. You won the game. Technically, you won the game. I'd be smiling too. But you did not take that win from the Eagles. The Eagles beat themselves, and by default, you won. Okay? So you're welcome. And, good luck against Kansas City. All right, that's it for this week. Today. I'll be back this week to talk about the upcoming game against Derek Carr and the Saints. Bye, guys.